Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folare. And so here we are. It's the day, 1 year after the EndSars protest that rocked Nigeria. And we talked about this yesterday, and so we'll talk a bit about it today. We have our correspondents, in place, giving us views of what's going on in far-flung places. In studio here, we have our friend, Mr. Olayinka Ola Daniel, lawyer and public affairs analyst. As always, Yinka, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you. Good morning.
Indeed.
Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. And now, not to waste any time at all, Habidah Lawal is a TVC News Correspondent in Abuja, and she's standing by there. A fine morning to you, Habidah. It looks quiet where you are. Tell us what you know about this protest in Abuja, the commemoration of it.
Well, Yori, I'm struggling to hear you, but what happened earlier on, we're presently in front of the Unity Fund. What happened earlier on is youth activist movement assembly, but we're stopped by security agents. The movement.
Okay. Habidah, we can see that it's a bit, in fact, it's more than a bit of a problem. So it freezes and then releases and freezes and releases. But guessing, I wouldn't want to put words into your mouth. As I was saying, it looks a bit quiet where you are, in case you're hearing us. But I do believe you were explaining that earlier that there had been some activity youths had sort of made for the National Assembly, but apparently I'm guessing you were going to say, or you were saying, that we couldn't hear that they were prevented from reaching there and were turned back by law enforcement authorities. We also have Miyen Akiri. He's another TVC News correspondent. As soon as Miyen is good in terms of the connection, we'll go to him, and we'll also go back to Habidah Lawal as soon as we reasonably can. And so here we are, Inka. Okay, let me try that again. Habidah, you're better now. So just carry on, please, so as not to lose any more time. Okay, Habidah.
Well, there have been a very strong show of force by security agents, the Department of State Security Service, the Nigerian Police Force, and also exhibiting a show of force in the major areas of Abuja this morning. And there's so much heavy traffic as well. And there are also pro-gun protesters trying to dissuade the anti-protesters, making them see reasons on why they should not hold the protest, or on the reason why the protest should be handled peacefully.
Okay, Habidah, I heard that, and I was going to ask you, you said there seemed to be a strong, your word, a show of force. And there are those who are wondering, in fact, there are those who are saying that, look, the police has its work cut out for it. The police should be able to keep the two groups apart, and ensuring the rights of both groups that you talked about. Those that seem to be pro-government is what you said, trying to persuade the other people that there was no need to protest, and the other protesters saying that it was their constitutional right. In relation to that, when you said show of force, was the police attempting to keep them apart and protect both sides, or give me what your eyewitness account?
Well, we've experienced a very long convoy of security agents with different vehicles, also masked security agents as well, have been going around in vehicles around town, and it's been a very, very, very long convoy by the security agents. But so far, they've been able to maintain order, and the protest has been handled peacefully, Yori.
Were the protesters initially heading for the National Assembly? Okay. There's a bit of a challenge. I do believe I heard you say, but I wanted to reconfirm that, that the protesters tried to head for the National Assembly, but were prevented from doing so by law enforcement, state security service people, security service people. Is that correct?
Yes. They were heading to the National Assembly, but they were stopped in front of the Ministry of Justice, and the representative of the police met with the protesters, telling them that the Speaker, House of Representatives, that they were to present their demands to, will be coming to meet them at that point. But the protesters refused, that they want to present their demands right in front of the National Assembly to the leadership of the National Assembly, but they were prevented from doing so.
Okay, but so far are things still peaceful, meaning no arrests, or what have you witnessed in that regard? Were the police able to successfully turn them back, and did they go back peacefully?
So far, there were no arrests whatsoever, and the protesters came back to the Unity Fountain, but presently, as I speak to you, they've dispersed.
There is a, I beg your pardon, I didn't hear the word. There is a what? Okay. So sorry, Habidah, but it's the connection.
So far, they've returned back to the Unity Fountain. There were no arrests whatsoever, and it was peaceful.
Now, is the police being even-handed if they are preventing those who want to commemorate the EndSars first year anniversary? Were they equally stern with those that you could refer to as pro-government protesters that had come out to, as it were, checkmate those protesters? Was the police being even-handed in that regard, do you know?
Well, the police have handled the protest in the best of their ability, as civil as they could, and it has also helped in managing the crowd perfectly well. Also, the heavy flow of traffic along this axis as well, Mr. Yori.
Okay, because right now, where you are, reaching us from, it looks pretty peaceful and quiet. What road is that, or has that been cleared? It looks peaceful and quiet where you are now. Has it been cleared of earlier crowds? And there's no evidence of the traffic you're speaking about.
Well, presently the protesters have dispersed by themselves since they were stopped from gaining access to the National Assembly ground. They've dispersed peacefully.
Yes. How about the pro-government protesters, so-called, those ones that you spoke about? Same treatment? The police are not tolerant of them either?
They got the same treatment by the police, but they are still presently in the Unity Fountain.
Okay. They are still presently at the Unity Fountain, but the EndSars protesters, where are they? Are they both occupying the same space?
The EndSars protesters earlier have dispersed.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Well, thank you very much, Habidah. We got what we could from you. It's been helpful. I wish the lines had been better so that you could have been more fluid and would have got it more a lot more from you. But thank you very much for bringing us up to speed on the situation right there. Okay, that's Habidah Lawal, TVC News Correspondent in Abuja. We still will be hearing from Miyen Akiri in Lagos. He, as soon as the technical gizmos, whatever. Now, it's interesting. The police, they had said that they would not be tolerant. They had asked people to stay away, and been listening to some sort of commentary. There are, even yesterday on the program when we spoke about this same subject, whereas there were those who are saying that there could be other ways to mark this event. There were another side that were saying that, look, it is the right of Nigerians to protest, and that Nigerian youths, in fact, this morning we had something of a conversation off camera, that we should not encourage the timidity of our youths. I don't know, but that's what some people are saying. The police were very clear about it. Please do not come out. Please do not come out. As it appears, there were attempts but have been repelled. I even saw some social media posts. You might have seen some yourself. You're gonna comment on that, but let me take a quick break. Stay with us, please, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. It's the first year anniversary of the EndSars protest, and there had been intentions to protest, but we were hearing from our correspondent in Abuja, Habidah Lawal, that there had been attempts, but the police had turned them back. There had been attempts to access the National Assembly. Police had turned them back. There was also, the police were, sort of even-handed in the sense that pro-government protest, so-called, also scheduled to, come and, shall we say, checkmate the other group. Not even they weren't allowed. Okay, we will still be taking you to some venue because there will be some TVC feeds which will bring that to you. We'll bring that feed to you as soon as we have it. But in the meantime, Ola, has anything surprised you? I was telling you how the viewers seemed to be divided yesterday. Some saying it was all right, the police saying please don't protest. And even on that, there are people who are highly critical, saying that don't make our kids, our youngsters, timid. How do you see it?
Well, first among all, police made a wrong statement, if I'll put it that way. How do I mean?
You're speaking as a lawyer now.
Yes. How do I mean? Police don't have the power to decide when protest should be made or not. The Constitution, by Chapter 4, has given every Nigerian a right to protest. Now, the duty of the police is to make sure that this protest is peaceful. Now, how do you do that? Because at this point, if we don't have trained police officers to know how to manage protests, because the truth is, because what they are saying is the protest as a way of, being hijacked.
Yes.
Meaning every other protest as an item of being hijacked in one way or the other.
It's crowd control. Essentially, it comes down to the ability of the police to control the crowd.
Thank you. So if you complain that, it means that no protest will be allowed in this country. If every protest, that will be hijacked. So has the potential of being hijacked, then it is your duty to make sure that that does not happen. Part of the trainings you have is to make sure that protests are peaceful. They have told you they want to have a protest. So it is your duty to make sure that hoodlums don't hijack the protest and it's peaceful. Yes, they will tell you where they want to have their protest. And you make sure that your presence is really felt at the place where they want to have the protest. And a peaceful procession, look at the youth. They even said, okay, they just want to have movement, as in car movement of the protest that they just want to move in, their cars.
Car convoy.
So, car convoy. So what you're supposed to do is to give them security. Is to make sure that, yes, that is done and nobody has come to hijack such procession. So not saying you cannot, because if you call yourself an officer of the law, it means what gives you the power to act as an officer is the law. And you are disobeying the same law. So where did you get the power? If the law has made you an officer, yet the law is now saying this is what the power I gave people to protest. You are now saying, sorry, you cannot enjoy this power as an individual. That is what the police is saying. Reason why I said it does not lie in the police power to say protest cannot go on.
Okay.
The reason why you are employed as an officer is to manage such crowd.
Well, again, Reverend Dominic is on the line. Good morning, Reverend Dominic.
Good morning, Chief Yari.
Thank you for calling in, sir.
Can you get me loud and clear?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning to the lawyer in the studio.
Good morning, sir.
Now, Yari, if you could allow me 60 seconds. The question we should ask ourselves today as a nation, an individual, Did we learn any lesson from last year's protest? Do we learn any lesson? If you ask me from here and what I've had since morning, I've been monitoring it all over. I think Nigeria as a nation have not learned any lesson. That time has come. We cannot keep these children at their base again. We must allow them to exercise their right and speak freely so we can learn for what we have done wrong and what we have done right. But to me, no lesson is learned because police is still out there, trying to push us.
Okay. I'm sorry about that. We lost Reverend Dominic. I think there were, at least he didn't finish what he was saying, but what he did say, there were many aspects of what you are saying, that trying to operate within the law, and you were a bit nonplussed at where is the police getting the authority? What law are they using to make the pronouncements that they are making? I wouldn't be surprised. I think I heard something about the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Hakeem Odumosu, might indeed be addressing the press, but that's a separate matter. So it'll be interesting to hear what he has to say, because as far as the newspapers were concerned yesterday, and this is like live feed from the, this is from this is from the toll gate. This is from the toll gate end of the Lagos. No, that's not. This is in Lagos. Which toll gate is Lagos? This is Lagos. Looking at the background. That's Lekki, the Lekki toll gate. Yes. For the rest of us that are not in Lekki, we also have our own toll gate here. So, but that's not the one. It's not that one. It's not the Lagos Ibadan toll gate. The only toll gate now. And by the way, that toll gate has been.
It's no longer. Yes.
It's no longer a toll gate.
Yes.
Properly, it's right. Now you can see here. I am hearing that. You can see that there are some people in those Black Marias, and we understand these are people that had been apprehended or arrested by the police. You can see that the police, and Habidah was telling us that the police had shown a strong force, and here we are. It'll be interesting to hear from authorities what this is all about, why they were arrested, in the light of what you were speaking about.
Very well.
And I think Reverend Dominic was also going to go there. Because the question Reverend Dominic sort of posited was that, what lessons have we learned since the originating event? And I think he was going to go along the lines of, not very many of those lessons have been learned. Would you like to continue?
Unfortunately, Uncle, we're used to all this decree, people wearing agbada on khaki uniform, and they're used to their ways of giving orders. And now, if that is a practice, they had forgotten that things are changing. Now, the generations we had in those days that you come and you shoot, everybody disperse. Now, these youths are saying, things are changing. And we want to hear our voice. Our voices, we want to speak. We are not confident with what is happening. It is our future we are talking about. Can't you just listen to us? So I think right now what they should be doing is to listen, to find a way of listening to these people. Allow this peaceful protest, not making arrest of those people, because there will be agitation. People, the game may change. Allow them peaceful protest and make sure that no hoodlums hijack the protest. They had informed you beforehand.
You were saying earlier that if we do not have a shortage of educated and well-trained policemen, then it should be a piece of cake, actually.
Very well.
But I don't know if the police are going about it in the light of some shortages that they know they have, because the ideal, as was said on our program yesterday, is that the police should protect everybody that wants to come out and protest.
Very well.
Whether you are pro-government, whether you are pro-EndSars, both of them should be, as long as they keep they keep the law.
Yes.
They should. Nobody should be prevented from their voice being heard. I believe we have a call from Kaduna. Did I hear that right? Abubakar in Kaduna. Good morning, sir.
Uncle Yori, good morning.
Thank you very much for calling in. Go ahead, please.
And I'm greeting the lawyer in the house.
Yes,
good morning,
Mr. Ola Daniel.
Thank you very much. You see, from my own perspective, this EndSars protest is not even supposed to take place because there are many events that took place, ugly and sad events that is even more than the EndSars. Because if you check killings in the northwest, killing in the north central, killing in the southeast, killing everywhere, yet nobody protests. It is only the life.
Well, actually, sorry to interrupt you. This is a live feed. This is a TVC live feed, and I'm being told that one of the guys, the camera has moved away from now, but the police are beginning to release some of those that had been arrested earlier. Just to bring that police is going about it in their own way.
Hello?
Hello, sir. Please continue. I was just telling the viewers that we have a live feed stream here, and the police appear to be releasing some of those that were earlier arrested. Continue, sir, Mr. Bubakar.
So to me, I think these protests supposed to, at least if they want to do it for Nigerians, they're supposed to protest for the killings in the southeast, for the killing in the northeast, for the killing in the north central. Even recently, about 3 traditional rulers are...
Okay, Mr. Bubakar in Kaduna, thank you very much. We did get the points that you were making. Now,
I think I need to say something about that.
Sure.
What is asking for? I think I need Mr. Abubakar to understand that these are part of the things these youths were asking for. Part of their demands, good governance. Part of their demands, remove nepotism. Part of their demands, make sure that there's no killing. Part of their demand, stop police brutalities. These are part of the demand. So what they are fighting for is still part of the things Mr. Abubakar is talking about. So what has happened in 1 year, when it happened last year, those were the demands. And government had promised that we will meet your demands.
That's right.
We will do this, we will do this. Now it's a year. None of the demands is being met. The police reform is not there. The only thing that has happened was to scrap SARS. The anti-robbery force is to scrap it. That was the only thing. We have not seen.
Isn't that something?
I said one out of, I think they had like 7 agendas.
The only,
yes,
five
the only.
or 5, I believe.
I think
something like
5 or 7 thereabout. Because if that was
this 5 for 5 slogan, meaning that what was requested, the 5 key points they were requested, the president, in fact, had said that all approved. And we will action all of that.
Where is the police welfare and reform of the policemen? We have not seen. As police brutality stop? No.
Can you say that for sure?
As it stopped, because even after EndSars, we still see what some of them still do. You remember the one that they just shot? The police just killed an innocent person. Even one of the protests, that the last one we had, they said unknown straight bullet. It's one innocent girl that was selling market.
Okay. So that's somewhere in Ojota here.
Yes. So we still have, and sort of all these things here and there. So has it stopped? No. So the way they treat an average Nigerians, has it stopped? No. So all these things are the demands of this youth.
Okay, I beg your pardon. Our Miyen Akiri is there at that. He's at the toll gate. Let's just describe it like that.
Yes.
But
Lekki Toll Gate.
We had Lekki Toll Gate, but we had to get him via Zoom. Good morning, Miyen. Okay. Your venue is Lekki Toll Gate, right? Give us an account of what's going on there.
Well, Yori, as I speak, we have the Commissioner of Police in Lagos State, addressing the pressmen who have experienced all that has happened at the Lekki Toll Gate today. I must say, at exactly 9:45 a.m. precise, the protesters, occupied the toll plaza, the exact spot, they last held their protest a year ago. And I'm right in front of the venue. And before then, the protesters were moving with their cars, blowing their horn, and try to make, their demands, the 5 demands they've been talking about over 360 days, 365 days ago. To this police brutality. What led to the EndSars protest was police brutality to them. And they are saying that some of the things they demanded for have not been met. The police tried to ensure that they didn't go ahead, with the protest beyond the agreed time. The Commissioner of Police said there was some form of negotiation between the lawyers of the EndSars protesters that they should protest peacefully between 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. And when it was 11 a.m. precisely, the police had to go with the use of force. And when I mean the use of force, they fired tear gas at protesters, and then they also held those who could not identify themselves. But before then, the lawyer of the EndSars protesters confirmed to TVC on camera that they saw some thugs who had also come to protest. They had cutlasses, they had an armor, and this was seized by the police. The police said they are in possession of all these items, and that was when they had feared that this could go beyond, what they could manage. And in trying to handle that, they went the force way, whereby, they had to use the tear gas. Some have asked questions. What about the use of microphone, to indeed communicate with the protesters? What about the use of cannon water and all that? But yes, this is what we're experiencing. The Commissioner of Police is here. Well, my colleague is safe, while he tries to run for safety, talking about he can't find his ID card. He was affected by the tear gas, but then we are safe. That's the situation at the Toll Plaza.
Miyen, let me get it clearly. Where you started from, did you say that the lawyers of the protesters, the EndSars protesters, had negotiated with the police a set time within which to protest? And I want to be sure I heard you right, that it was up to 9:45, and that at 11 o'clock, which is later than 9:45, the police moved in. Could you just go over that area clearly again, please?
Once again, I will confirm to you at exactly 9:45 a.m., the protesters actually went about with their cars, blowing the horn as a way of protesting, 1 year anniversary, of the EndSars saga in Lagos at the Lekki Toll Plaza precisely. But at 9:45 a.m., they were able to move in their numbers to occupy the exact spots they were at the Toll Plaza. If you sit behind me, you will see the Toll Plaza, and this is the exact spots they occupied exactly a year ago. So 9:45 a.m. was when they came in their numbers. They were protesting, marching towards, the police, and also protesting peacefully. But then at about 11 a.m., the police had to use force. But before then, the lawyer came to us and they said they had some form of negotiation, a day before, that they were going to protest from 8 till 10 a.m. And the Commissioner of Police said they had to use force to against protesters because they had gone beyond the normal time of 2 hours, which was given to them. But this was the negotiation the lawyers, had, with the policemen and understanding, for their protest here at the Toll Plaza.
Were you able to hear part of Mr. Hakeem Odumosu's press conference that you referred to earlier? You said that, that's the Lagos State Commissioner of Police. In summary, what did he have to say?
Well, in summary, the police, the Commissioner of Police, talked about the fact that those who were arrested were unable to identify themselves.
Okay.
One of them, it said to be a journalist. Unfortunately, he could not identify himself. I've got my ID card here. I've been able to identify myself. I don't have a challenge or any form of problem with the police force here. But he said what they would do to arrested persons here is that the police would have to investigate them and see if they are guilty, or not, before taking the necessary steps if they are to go to court or whatsoever. So that's what the Commissioner of Police, has said. But I will try, he's talking to the press, but I will try as much as possible to also get him to speak to us live on the show, and we hear from the officers.
Oh, that would be quite nice. But as we have you, Miyen, I wanted to ask about the other group, so-called pro-government protesters. Any sign of them? Were there any such people at your end? And there was the fear that these two groups might clash. Any evidence of that?
I've been here, since 7 a.m. and as I speak, I've not been able to see any. I've not seen any. It's only those, who call themselves, the Sorosoki, which means the vocal, speak out. They've been the one, dominating the scene here, and they are the ones that, I've seen, in the past 4 hours since I've been at the Lekki Toll Plaza.
Okay. And before we switch to you on Zoom, the TVC news feed that we were watching, apparently the police appear to have released some of the people that were arrested, were in the Black Maria. Can you tell us about that? Have police started? You spoke about police doing the investigations. Maybe they want to determine if there's probable cause before they know whether to go further. But can you tell us anything about people being released from the Black Maria?
Like I said earlier, for those who are unable to identify themselves, they were arrested. And for the journalist that was arrested, the Commissioner of Police said some of his colleagues have come out to say he's a journalist. And what the CP said was that they will indeed release him. And for others, what they said was they would have to do their own investigation and follow the necessary, steps. The lawyer of the EndSars, protesters, confirmed to TVC also that some form of negotiation is on between those who were arrested and the Nigerian police force. But then, for those who were caught with an hammer and a cutlass, the police said they would have to do their own investigation and take proper steps.
Thank you very much, Miyen, and I know you'll do everything you can to sort of stick to your quest to get Mr. Hakeem Odumosu to see if we can have a few minutes with him. But in the meantime, be safe in there. Thank you very much. So. Well, we still have Miyen, and as soon as Miyen can arrange anything, especially maybe hear directly from the Commissioner of Police in Lagos State, Mr. Hakeem Odumosu. But interesting there, the police actually have apprehended people who went for this protest with dangerous weapons.
Yes.
You see, this is a challenge. As the youths, genuine people are seeking to protest, never mind that the police had said it's not a welcome idea. But apparently they still, with lawyers the day before, had negotiated a window. Yeah. But that people went there, does this not now sort of say the police are sort of justified in some of their fears if they were able to get dangerous weapons, apprehend people with danger? What were you going to do at a peaceful process with dangerous weapons?
Well, it's a pertinent question you've asked there. However, this shouldn't justify police excuses of saying we cannot allow this.
Okay.
There is nowhere you won't find Judas. So among the youths, there will be a Judas. Now you have found a Judas, and that is the job of the police. The reason why you are there is to make sure that this protest is peaceful and to make sure that it's not hijacked by these hoodlums. Now, when these hoodlums come, it's also your duty to go all out for them
and neutralize them.
Neutralize them
so that they don't affect anything.
Very well. So now,
that's the point you are making.
That's the point I'm making.
Their job.
So it's not an excuse to say we will not allow protest.
Let me take Mazi Okorafor. Good morning, Mazi Okorafor.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Barrister.
Yes.
Good morning, Mazi.
Sir. Yeah, I want to find out this issue of the court or the tribunal that are telling the government to pay. Why is it that the Nigerian government, the state, they find it difficult to adhere to court or just panel reports? I'm asking this because these are the things that makes our youth look at what is happening. We have a constitution, and the constitution are not being followed typically, which is not healthy. Now, yesterday, I was watching CNN. The clips I saw, because when they show, they will just come and circle the spot, what happened. Now, you start asking yourself, why is it that in Nigeria, the media are so skeptical, some are just coming and they will not come up and picture so. Because, look, the event has already happened. What we are praying that let it not happen again. Now, what are the lessons that we are supposed to learn from this EndSars? The lessons are there, but we don't want to follow it and do the needful.
Mazi, thank you very much. I think we heard a bit, but the lines are a bit difficult today.
Yeah, part of what Mazi is saying is, you had a whole year. There's the panel of inquiries, they had made their submissions, the judgment, some compensations.
It's a continuing process.
It's a continuing process, but there are some that have been awarded compensations.
Yes.
Now, what Mazi is saying, even this compensation has not been paid. So why are you delaying it? Why is it taking the government so much time to obey this law? I mean, this judgment. That is what he's saying. That why don't you pay them? Now, till now, 1 year, it's saddening that an inquiry is being put together for 1 year and no one, even after they had confirmed that there was shooting, after they had confirmed some of these massacres, yet
there were injuries, there were losses,
yet nobody,
and compensations have been approved.
Nobody has been found culpable. Nobody has been picked for prosecutions. No one. So under a year.
And the biggest challenge from what you've been saying, and also what a lot of commentators have been saying, is that look, the police, the job of the police is not to prevent legitimate protests, as we have been saying, and a lot of people are saying, but to monitor them, supervise them,
protect them,
and very, very, very good, and protect them. This might have been complicated in the eyes of the police by the whole thing about two different groups coming to protest, but still it just makes their job a bit more difficult. But nonetheless, it still is doable if they have the right kind of men in the right number and with the right training. It shouldn't be that difficult with all those things in place to keep the two groups apart. And I don't know, this is what people are criticizing. The Constitution guarantees people the right to
it's because
free
some
assembly.
People are still above the law. It's because some of these people don't still see Constitution as the supreme law of the land. Some of them still answer to an individual as against the Constitution that have empowered them to, for a particular action. The reason why a police officer will come out to the public and announce that you cannot protest when the law has made it clear that you have every right to protest, and also their own police act has stated in the comfort of their own assignment what they are supposed to do as a police officer during such procession. You have not obeyed that also.
So does it matter that according to our man Miyen Akiri, there was a meeting between lawyers of the protesters yesterday, and they fashioned out a deal, a window within which you could protest. So something of a compromise. What do you think of that?
Well, that happened because apparently the lawyer knows the system in which we run. He knows that these people are not well trained. So the lawyer had to come probably to strike a deal to say, okay, fine, you will allow them, but can we do it within so time and so time and all that? And the police say, okay, fine, we can agree with you to do, but that shouldn't be the case.
Yeah, well, but at least they were listening. At least the police didn't say, we're not even talking. No, they didn't say that. They said, fine, whether it might not be enough for you, but you can protest for 2 hours, not so much. Is it protest or march or whatever? Do this peaceful thing
according to the law,
for 2 hours.
That is even illegal. That is even wrong. Such action,
there shouldn't be any
they have no choice but to listen to the lawyer. They have no choice but to come and say, okay, fine, if you're bringing a deal, so that it will be seen that you are the one that came with a deal. To say, okay, we want to have it, but it's going to be within this frame of time, and all that. So they want to put it back. Police, they are smart. They know they can be wonderful. When police want to, the law is clear, and when police want to tell you that we are still under the law, there's a way they know how they go about it. We know them. So what I'm saying in essence is that action was even illegal in the first instance, because there's no need for
because there should have been unfettered access to their rights by the Constitution.
You don't consign, you don't compress my right that the law has given me. The same law that gave you power, that gave you such responsibility, has conferred rights on me to do something. Then you are saying, no, you want to give me conditions. No, you can't give me conditions.
I wonder what happened to the phones. We still should be taking in phone calls, but even the one phone call that we did get, it seemed a bit shaky, and the lines have not been very favorable today. When we started out with Habidah Lawal, TVC News Correspondent, that was even a very poor line. But we sort of sidestepped that problem when we spoke with Miyen via Zoom. Is there a call coming in? Okay, Miyen, any further development? Okay, Miyen is trying to think that policeman is not being as cooperative as we would like him to be. Miyen, how far with that police officer? Miyen, if you could hear me,
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I think there's the Odumosu at the other side. That's Odumosu at the other side.
Go ahead, Miyen, if you can hear me. Tell us what's going on. Even your difficulties with
that's Odumosu.
That's Mr. Odumosu.
We confirm, the situation at the Lekki Toll Plaza. It's nice to have you, on TVC. Please, can you tell us how the Nigerian police has been able to cope with some of the challenges this Lekki Toll Plaza?
We are able to cope because we are trained and equipped to cope. And you know that one of our strategies of crime prevention is being proactive. I issued a press release on the 10th of this month. I issued another one yesterday. Along the lines, some people, maybe for this is better known to them, they went to say that police has agreed so that they should go do the protest. But they didn't. What you agreed, what you discussed with them was that you want to do academic exercise at the Landmark Hall to give security. Yesterday, they converged at 43 Adeni Jones. So they did their symposium there to give them security. That was no issue. And we agreed that they want to go on vehicular, and I repeat, vehicular protest. That they be in their vehicle, so they wave the flag, and they blast the horn to the highest volume, and maybe they have their placard. Maybe they have their placard to show, so maybe whatever they want to do, maybe they have their banner. I said they are free to do that, as long as they don't stop moving.
Was there an exact time? Was it for how many hours?
No, we as police didn't get any time. But on their own, they said from what they posted on the social media, 8 and 10 a.m. So by the time the Minister 9 retreated them, I called that chap that you said 10 o'clock, this is already to 11. What's the problem? I've seen something now on the social media going on. The road has been blocked already. People are not moving up and down. They now categorically told me that all the organizers have left, have gone back to their houses. If anybody on the ground now, they are miscreants. And I just have to use minimum force. We don't want something. And we arrested somebody now, I'm out there now, with machetes. We equally, one of the officers there now was equally stabbed. And the protesters, they have left. So we need to use it to return normalcy. Last year, when this thing happened, we know that all the calamity that occurred were not by those who have initial intention of expressing their feelings. So the banks that have finalized, so go down to these houses now, all the market has finalized that now, go back to Lagos Island now, so the market, the Lagos Island Center, even the MPA quarter that was set ablaze. So go to go there. The vehicles are burnt, they are not by the organizers.
I'm sorry to interject. I'm sorry to interject now, because of time factor. For those who have been arrested, what will the police do to them?
Those who have been arrested, they have been identified, they have been releasing them. Once they have means of identification, they are going to release them. But definitely not the one that's identified as top, so one officer, not the one that recover weapons with. So they've identified. He was arrested, we never know he's a journalist, but already identified them and released him. So anybody arrested that has means of identification, not means of livelihood, identification will release. Because of that, innocent person could be picked.
My last question for you, you made mention of the fact that there was no time factor given by the police force. Can they still go ahead with their protest with their own, while passing the toll plaza?
They're free, but I was told that in what they posted on social media, in between 8 and 10. I was probably told that they have finished their protest, they have gone back to their various houses. But if they still decide now to come back, we are here. As long as they just want to be a peaceful one, be in their vehicle, drive their vehicle around now, they are free like every other vehicle is moving up and down. We don't give anybody time. They can't stop them now, not to move by 2 a.m., by 3 a.m. There is until maybe the curfew time, which is 12 midnight, so till 4 a.m. But they are free to move. If they still want to, there's no problem. Because we don't give them any time. They give themselves time.
Commissioner
So
of
is that
Police,
right?
Lagos. I must say a very big thank you for talking to us, on TVC. That's the situation, you've heard, the CP, confirm the situation, and those will be released, if they were properly identified at the end of the day.
Thank you very much, Miyen. Appreciate your assistance over there. Well, you just heard the Commissioner of Police in Lagos State. You just heard him. We don't have any problem.
He corroborated what I told you before he came on.
We don't have any problem with, in fact, they agreed. So the videos that might have been seen on social media of vehicular protests, he said that part of it, they had even agreed that, look, keep it moving, no problem. We just don't want you guys to stay. People will be able to read what they want to read into it. And no doubt, this is a conversation that will continue throughout the day on TVC News and all our other programs. But we've run out of time on our program now. And I just wanted to thank you. Thank you, Olayinka Ola Daniel, Lawyer Public Affairs Analyst, for coming on. And thanks to, Habidah and Miyen, who also, helped in putting this report together. That's our program today. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Fulani. Bye-bye for now.